Hello and welcome to SweetSpotDFS. This is a course fit video for the 2021 Farmers Insurance Open. And what I usually like to cover in these videos, I like to go over the tournament fact sheets, look at the weather forecast for the days of the tournament, Thursday through Sunday, do a course breakdown, and then follow it up with golfers' demographics. So the purpose between those two, try to find if there's a shot shape that's necessary, and then I do have a ton of golfers with their shot shape on my spreadsheet. So we'll go over and see if there's, any correlation, not so much correlation, but try to find golfers that fit, the course breakdown. And then I like to go into the grass stats. We are on POA this week, POA greens at least, and follow or basically end it with the course history, which will look basically all the way back to 2013 to see who's played well here, whether or not course history matters, and then basically give you my best course fit plays. So you can find timestamps in the description. Chapter mode's enabled, so the progress bar, the little red progress bar on YouTube, that's cut up into segments. That tells you what each segment is by hovering over it. So you have that all at your mercy. Okay. Let's go ahead and now I said I usually like to talk about the tournament fact sheets, but if I were to reload this website from the GCSAA and drill down on the PGA Tour, they don't have one yet. I'm not sure if they're going to. The American Express didn't have one, but that wasn't really uncommon. Last year was the first year they actually had a tournament fact sheet. For this season, I'm not sure if they're doing them anymore. This is obviously the second tournament where there hasn't been one, so I can't really, make that determination, but it is weird that we don't have one, considering if we look at the 2020 tournament fact sheets and scroll down, Farmers Insurance is there as well as the American Express. So we're going to go ahead, drill down on that, look at the setup from last year. Now, I heard there were 300 yards added to the North course. Originally, I think I saw it was the South course, but I'm not sure which one has 300 yards added. I'm pretty sure it's not the South course because that would be super long. So I think they made the North course a little bit longer, but we do have two golf courses if you didn't catch that. Torrey Pines South and Torrey Pines North. And the South is longer than the North. 76.98. I really don't know how far the North is going to be playing because, of course, I don't have the tournament fact sheets. But we are in La Jolla, California, not La Jolla. I know a lot of us probably want to say that, but it's La Jolla. I'm guessing most of the information we see on the screen is going to be the same. We're going to see 5,000 square feet on the South for greens, 6,000 square feet at the North. You can see the acreage of fairways. I don't think that really matters that much, nor does the rough. Not many holes that have water in play for either course. I think the North has 0. If I remember, I just did the course breakdown prior to recording this video. I didn't see any water. Now that I think of it on the North, but really the most important piece is looking at this. Now, the turf grass says Poana on the greens. North course has bent grass. So it might be worth looking at both of them. I just don't know that information for 2021. We can go with it. I will say this. I did not load bent grass. For whatever reason, I did not see this North part before clicking record. We're going to go on without it. We're only playing one time at the North Golf Course, so having that bent grass information might not be that important. Maybe for Showdown for sure, but I'm not sure. I don't think it's going to matter that much. This is what was interesting. So we all know it's Kikuyu grass on the fairways and the rough, but did we know it was overseeded? I don't remember doing that in my preview last year. I feel like when I read this was the first time reading it, and I honestly thought everyone talks about this course being Kikuyu. Kikuyu, all the way through, all the way up until the green, and then it's Poana. I don't think so. Ryegrass. And we saw ryegrass last week. probably not as thick as what the ryegrass is going to be. It's actually another point to make. A lot of people think this course is gearing up for the US Open because that is played here later in the year. But I don't think they are, setting it up to be like the US Open. If you remember, the Wells Fargo Championship is played on the golf course, and I can't think of it off the top of my head. But the PGA Championship played on that golf course that year a couple months later. And they actually moved the tournament from that course to another one. It's going to bother me. Oh my goodness. What is it? I have to look it up. Have to. Quail Hollow. I'm sure a lot of people you are yelling at the screen going, what the hell? Just move on. But Quail Hollow was not, the Wells Fargo wasn't played at Wells Fargo. Yeah, it was not played at the Wells Fargo tournament. That got moved to Eagle Point Golf Course, which was down the road. But the PGA Championship was played. I only talk about this because I don't want anyone to get the wrong idea that this course is going to play tougher than it typically does. It's still a tough golf course, but it's nowhere near probably how tough they're going to make it for the US Open. So that's just my 2 cents. I don't think we have to go forward with any more of this. You can see who the architects are. I've never seen them for any other golf course on tour. So we can just skip that. Let's go ahead and get into the weather. It looks like it's going to rain Thursday and Friday. I'm recording this on a Monday. So there's ample time for the forecast to change. I would recommend looking at it on Wednesday and determining from there what you want to do. It might be beneficial to do like a tee time split or a tee time stack, where if there was a golfer if there were 2 golfers you were trying to choose between, and one plays in the morning Thursday, one plays in the evening Thursday, the weather might be a great deciding factor. I don't advise creating a lineup that has all 6 on one or the other. It works once in a very, very, very blue moon. But other than that, I think that'd be unwise. Do not do that. But yeah, if we drill down on Thursday, you can kind of see what it looks like. Few showers developing later in the day, so it's probably not going to be that windy, or that much rain. But when you add wind to it, it really makes for unfavorable, weather, especially at 62 degrees. Now that for us northerners seems really warm now. But playing at that time of the year down there, that's not like a warm rain. That's a very cold rain. And that wind is going to be, if it picks up, it's going to be very unfavorable. Looking at Friday's forecast, it looks like it's rain all day. So it says rain early, then remaining cloudy with showers in the afternoon. So if there was maybe a tee time stack to do, it might be PM AM. I do believe PM AM usually end up having the best results. Like more golfers are inside the top 10 usually than doing the opposite, going from morning to afternoon. So I'm not advising, like I said, I'm not advising to stack both or all your golfers for one tee time stack. But again, if you have to choose between 1 or 2, maybe 3 golfers, perhaps the PM AM is the way to go. Saturday and Sunday look pretty benign for the most part. Wind is around 10 miles an hour, doesn't look terrible, sunny skies, does not look like any rain. So I think we're okay Saturday, Sunday, but really most of our decisions have to be done with Thursday and Friday in mind, because those are 2 rounds that will determine the cut. And obviously you want as many guys going through the cut as possible. I think that weather forecast is the most important. Okay, Let's move on to a course breakdown. Again, we have 2 golf courses. We have the South, we have the North, both at Torrey Pines. I'm going to start with the North. I'm going to leave this on the screen. You guys can read it, but here's my quick synopsis. It's pretty straightforward. Like it looks like they're very narrow driving holes. Not much dogleg, not much trees that you have to hit around or anything like that. Any shot shape is going to be just fine on the North Golf Course. So I don't have a shot shape that is required on the North. Moving to the South, same thing applies. You know, pause the video, read what I have written if you care. Here's the quick, rundown of it. Sure, there's a little bit more color that shows fade and draws, and I think those are definitely beneficial ball flights for these holes. However, I don't think it's absolutely necessary that you need these ball flights. When we actually look, I'll scroll down, you can see, but really it doesn't matter for draws or fades. It's both courses require really good driving. Obviously, the big story, Mark Leishman, I think his last round didn't hit a fairway and still won this tournament. Obviously, I think fairways are going to be really important here. If they are growing the rough out a little bit, it's going to make this course a little bit tougher. Again, there's not going to be any no spectators, so there's not trampled down rough. The thick rough that maybe a Leishman would have found last year that was trampled down isn't trampled down, so you're not going to have easier lies. This is going to be a pure golf course, and this is a very difficult golf course. If we were to look at all the golfers at the top 10, Leishman fades the golf ball, Rahm fades the golf ball, Brandt draws it, Rory's working on a fade. I think it's more of his preferred shot shape now, but he's a predominantly a draw golfer. Don't know what Hoagie is. Watson curves it both ways. Patrick Reed draws it, Finau fades it. So you can see the top 10 of just 2020, very diverse between draws and fades. Really, honestly, there isn't a hole that is required, to hit around. I think there's one at the South Course where hitting a fade off the tee box on a long par 5 is the best opportunity to actually reach the green into. But really, none of this is necessary. Rose is a fade golfer. You probably have more fades here, but then we have 2 draws, 3 draw golfers. It's just, I would not worry about it. And when we look at the demographics of these golfers, this column here with shot shape, just not important, really. To me, it's not important. You can, when we scroll up and down, you can certainly look to see if it matters to you. But it might be interesting to look at all those golfers that are from California or who call California home. And you can see Xander Schauffele, Max Homa, Phil Mickelson, JJ Spahm, Joseph Bramlett, Martin Traynor. Xander lives or grew up 10 minutes away from this golf course. So it might be worth playing Xander, but in all honesty, I don't think it really matters all that much. None of these golfers are on my radar of people to play except for Xander. When we look at the college to see who may live in other states but went to college in California, we still have Xander up there. Now we pull in Benny Ann, we pull in Maverick McNeely, James Hahn, John Huh, Patrick Rogers. I do like Rogers this week, so I think that's a decent play. Piercy, Hubbard, Brennan Hagee, who played really well last week, Nick Watney, a few more golfers here you can see on the screen. They all went to the College of California or went to a college in California. Do I care about some of these guys? I mean, McNeely showed up really well at Pebble last year, so it might be worth a consideration. Patrick Rogers has done well at this golf tournament before. James Hahn usually plays really well at the Genesis Invitational, which we'll see, later. Well, we'll see in a couple of weeks or a few weeks. I can't remember exactly when, but we will see that soon. I don't know. To me, I'm not going to get worried about any of these guys that are from California, but here you go. These are the guys from California. Now, I'm going to clear out these filters and let's go into grass stats. I do have course history next to grass stats. I'll keep these two columns here. But we're really just going to look at POA. Now, I did say that the North course was bent grass, but I really don't. I don't care for bent. You know, it's one round of the tournament. It is going to be something that it'll matter for Showdown for sure, and it still will matter for the rest of this tournament. But you know, we're going to stick to POA. Your best POA golfer that has over 4 rounds of golf. I mean, it doesn't really matter, but it's Adam Scott by a long shot, 22.78. This includes a win from last year at the Genesis Invitational. You can see this should be 20 POA stats. We only had 2 events this year for this calendar year. I shouldn't say calendar year, this season. The US Open was a POA track, as well as, I want to say, the Safeway Open. I'm pretty sure it was a Safeway Open. So not enough events, and I didn't add that to the 2020 stats. Probably could have and should have. Unfortunately, I didn't. So just be aware that this is just looking at 2020. Either way, Adam Scott, Rory McIlroy, Jon Rahm, Hideki Matsuyama, Jason Day, Victor Hovland, Tony Finau, Patrick Reed, Brooks, Xander. All your top guys in the field, basically. Adam Scott, I know someone was talking about him being one of the best values, I think. I don't remember exactly what it was pertaining to, but it does look for, you know, course history as well as overall POA splits. We'll get into course history. I'm not sure if that is absolutely correct. I do know these 2 numbers are, but that seems crazy. It feels like that might be 1 event worth of course history, possibly. Anyways, looking at POA, usually what I like to do, I do like to look at these numbers, but I don't weigh too heavily on that. I usually like to look at this one, which is the percentage of golf rounds any of these golfers have ever had on POA inside the top 10. So Rory leads the way at 47.37%. And then it's Jason Day, Adam Scott, Jon Rahm, Brooks Koepka, Tony Finau, and Matthew Wolff, who has 11 events under his belt. So, you know, Matthew Wolff, we didn't really see at the top of the overall, you know, POA average, but his ability to make top 10 is better than 1/4 of the time. So definitely worth the consideration. Jordan Spieth, 7,600. You can make an argument. I don't want it to be at the Farmers, but if this wasn't the Farmers, and say, you know, maybe this is the Charles Schwab Classic, you know, later on in the year, and he's 7,600, I would definitely choose him. He is kind of, I'm not gonna be shy on playing Jordan Spieth this week. I think it's actually a decent ability for him to come back, and I want to tell you why. I have a firm belief that golfers who, like, his golf swing has become much more loose than in the past. Yeah, I would say that, because I think he's trying to gain more distance off the tee. I know that's what he was working on for a while, and his driving was really erratic. When you introduce wind in a hard golf course, the technicality of trying to keep a swing compact and limited, I think that helps someone like Jordan Spieth, because he's not worried about bombing it. He knows everyone else has to play in the same wind he does. It's more of a control game. So that would really only be my only argument for Jordan Spieth. I would not blame you if you wanted to take a wait and see approach with him. But I do think this might be a tournament where you can actually use him, and the 7,600 price tag isn't really going to hurt you that much. With that being said, I don't think I'm going to own him any more than 10%, but I do like his chances of at least making the cut. And we'll see how I feel about it later on in the week, especially during the strategy video tomorrow. We'll see. We'll see where he stands up. But either way, He has really good POA splits. Good opportunity to make top 10. I think it's worth a play, I think. I'm not going to talk about the rest of the guys, but you can see them. The top 2020 POA guys, you got Rahm, McIlroy, Scott, Schauffele. Those 4 guys show up all the way across the board. I think if you wanted to start your lineups with any of those 10K and above guys, perfect. Absolutely perfect to do so. Scott just might be that next fill-in. I don't know. I feel like that is a really good price tag for him, especially when it comes to these POA splits. So you can see the rest of the guys here. These are your top 20, by the way. POA. Actually, that's 19. Top 19. But yeah. Anyone who is above, I forgot to mention this, but anyone that's above 7%, 6% is in play for me. This goes all the way down here. Like, that's 75 golfers we're looking at that are above 7%. I'm not going to talk about any of these guys, but I'm going to scroll slowly. So if you wanted to pause the video and look, you certainly can, to figure out if you like any of these guys and you want to play them. Yeah, anyone above 7%, in my opinion, is a decent play. Let's see here. I think that covers it for grass stats. Let's go into course history. I could definitely go by this column, but I do have my own tab that does course history. And it's really just looking at, average finishing position, the amount of events played, best finish, top 10s, that kind of thing. As expected, Adam Scott only had 1 event under his belt over the last 8 years. And he finished second. So that's why he has that 2 next to his course history average. Still good. A second place is nothing to really do an eye roll over. I think Adam Scott's worth a good play. And if you watch the preview, which Australian are you going to use this week? Because it's that time of the year for Australians to do well. Hey, why not jump on Adam Scott? 8,300. Great course history. Super good with POA. I don't see an issue with that. Our next guy, Rory McIlroy. He's coming back from Abu Dhabi. I believe he played, these 2 tournaments in 2020, 2019. He played a European event the year before, or the week before. So this would not be foreign. I mean, it would be, but you get my drift. Like, this isn't out of the ordinary for Rory. I think playing him is no issue playing him. The jet lag thing, I don't think it's going to be an issue. These European golfers are used to that. I'm not sure if Jon Rahm played last week. Maybe you guys can let me know in the comment section, or obviously leave me a comment on Twitter. But obviously he's a European golfer. The Abu Dhabi tournament is a prestigious tournament, so I could see Rahm playing. Again, I don't think there's an issue coming over from Europe. Now, that doesn't apply for everybody, but if Rahm had, you can obviously see what his track record here at Torrey was after doing such a thing. Obviously, the best golfer with course history has really good POA splits. Rahm is probably the best course fit play. Finau, on the other hand, has really good results as well at this tournament, has a higher sample size than, say, Jon Rahm. 11.83 is only 2 points below 2 points below Rahm. I should say Rahm is 2 points below Tony Finau. So, you can make the case for Tony Finau. Even with his kind of disappointing round at the American Express, this is probably a good spot for him. I don't know if I'm going to do it with his price tag. You can see some of these guys have 1 event under their belt, and that's why they show up at the top. But I'm going to get rid of 0 and 1, and we can see a little bit of a broader picture. You can see that Bubba's good course history. Obviously, he hadn't played there for like 5 years. Had a 23rd in 2014, a 6th in 2020. Yeah, so 2 events in 8 years. I don't know. I'm not there with Bubba. I can see how this might be a good track for him because you have the option to shape it any direction you want. So he can, I mean, it's like an artist with a blank canvas board. He gets to just decide what he wants to do. That's probably good for him in some aspects, but I don't know. I'm not going to go there. Jason Day, I did this last year. If you remove the 2 missed cuts, 5.67 is his average finishing position. But obviously he does have 2 missed cuts, and we have no idea what his game is like. He did a little bit of an equipment change, doing some swing changes, trying to alleviate pressure on his back during his golf swing. Obviously he has a very tender back. A lot of withdrawals have happened over the last, 5 years because of his back. Play at your own risk, but he has really good course history. So definitely consider that. Brent Snedeker has good course history. I don't like how he's playing recently, so I'm probably going to stay away from that. And Gary Woodland, to me, probably has one of the more, I wouldn't so much say hidden, but no one was really talking about Gary Woodland's course history. Not that I know of, but pretty decent. JB Holmes, decent. Leishman, obviously, is one here. I think Keegan Bradley's out now. I'll have to double check that, but, of golfers that have 8 events played under their belt, that's pretty good for course history, just for their average. Golfers with the most top 10s, usually like to kind of look over that too. Jason Day, I think we just saw that. Charles Howell III, Brant Snedeker both have 4 top 10s at this tournament over the last 8 years. Nearly 50% of their tournaments have been, or 50% of their finishes at this tournament have been top 10s. Rahm, obviously, 4 events, 3 top 10s. He owns at this golf course, followed by Finau, Holmes, Leishman, Walker, and Choi. Probably going to stay away from Jimmy Walker and KJ Choi. Don't really care for them. Yeah, that's pretty much going to wrap it up for course history. Now, I could go and say, all the top guys with POA and with course history are my favorite course fit plays, but I'll go by price range. Jon Rahm is going to be my favorite course fit play for guys 10K and above. It's a really close one between him and Xander. I mean, I almost want to give Xander a little bump because, this is kind of a home game for him. But, I mean, Jon Rahm is, it's really hard to argue against Jon Rahm. And especially when you look at Xander's course history, he has 3 missed cuts here. And then the other finish was like a 26th place. So although this is like a home track for him, he hasn't played well here before. Going in the 9K range, I think it's Hideki. I think that was kind of evident when we were going through, although Brooks would be a close second, just because of POA and course history. I might actually retract all of that. I see Matthew Wolff. I totally forgot he was in the 9K range. Yeah, I'm probably going to go with Matthew Wolff, although Hideki is enticing, and so is Brooks. Going into the 8K range, we have last week's winner in Si Woo. I don't really like him here. Bubba has pretty decent, numbers on POA. Decent course history. We already went over that. That's 2 events, though. It's probably going to be Jason Day for me. It's between Jason Day or Adam Scott. You can see a slew of Australians here. Leishman, Day, Cameron Smith, Adam Scott, all in the 8K range. We do have Cameron Davis down here in 7-9. But for me, it's between Jason Day and Adam Scott. I think I'm going to prefer... Yeah, I think it's a tie. Honestly, I'm just gonna give it a tie. I'm not gonna choose one or the other because I'm gonna play both of them almost equally in all my lineups. Not all of them, but I will play. If one has Adam Scott, I'll have one play with Jason. The other one will be Jason Day, and so on and so forth. They're not gonna garner 100% of my lineups, but probably gonna trend around like 60%, maybe not. That seems a little high. We'll see. I'm going to run it out and see what the lineups look like with both of them. Going into the 7K range. Oh, man. I want to say it's Spieth. I want to and I don't all at the same time. Charles Howell seems like a very, you know, I don't know. I want to say generic pick just because it's safe. It's a very safe pick. Yeah, I like Alex Noren, but he doesn't have a really good track record on POA. He's obviously finished at, second in this tournament before. I like Carlos Ortiz, but I don't like his ball flight for the wind, if we're going to have any wind. And no one really is popping out that looks good course history and POA. It's like one or the other, I guess it's got to be Gary Woodland, right? Okay, we're going to go with Gary Woodland. Perfect. I'm glad we agreed on that. For 6K range, I know I had somebody. Can't remember exactly who. Harry Higgs has only played this once. Oh, it was JB Holmes. JB Holmes is the guy. Great course history, especially for golfers in the 6K. Probably has the lowest course history, and then that POA average is pretty good as well. Again, we want golfers. Any golfer that's over 7%, he works for us in that department. 31.75. I guess Matthew Naismith has better course history, but that's because he finished here 30th last year. Same with McCumber and Will Gordon. All only have one event under their belt here at the Farmers. I think it's going to be JB. So those are my favorite course fit plays in each of the price ranges. I'm going to leave it at that. So hopefully this was helpful. Let me know in the comment section. Other than that, I'll see you in the strategy video tomorrow. Please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Actually, the strategy video is probably going to come out later today because this will probably go out on a Tuesday. We'll see. We'll just check in with me. Strategy video tomorrow or later today. All right. See you later.